Welcome to my channel, everyone. Today I have the amazing Sludge Judge with me. Welcome.
Thank you.
We are going to be talking about a couple of subjects, and we're going to talk about African magic. But before I get into our discussion, why don't you just tell my viewers who you are, where they can find you, and kind of like what you do.
So I'm a sludge judge, also known as Sludge Judy, and Spooktacular Waifu. I'm a streamer, a writer, artist, musician, and I basically just do whatever the fuck I want. I'm also a practitioner of the last 20 years. Very recently, I started dabbling in Luciferian Quimbanda just because I thought, wow, this like really resonates. But I have a lot of things to say about that too, and generally about Western Quimbanda and my opinions on that. But anyway, that being said, that's me, and hi.
Oh, thank you.
You know,
So
my
where can my viewers find you if they want to check you out?
So my Twitch is Spooktacular Waifu. I'm geriatric waifu on Twitter. I'll be changing my Instagram name to that too, but for now it's a Prelude and Violet. And yeah, I do all kinds of stuff. I do everything from occult gaming to just indie games. I read like a lot of occult and paranormal, like sci-fi stories and things of that nature as well. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, I saw you doing a live stream. You were reading a story.
Yes.
That was like I just love that. It was awesome. And you play video games too?
I do, yes.
Oh, bad bitch here.
I love video games. Yeah, that was my babysitter for most of my life. Most TV babysitter. Mine was the internet and video games, pretty much.
Okay, so we're gonna talk about a couple of subjects. Some subjects about our community and the views that you have on it, and there are some things you want to talk about. You want to talk about egoism in the community, and what was the other one?
Ableism.
Ableism. Yeah. So what's your views on that? What do you want to bring up and talk about?
So in the occult community, there is a pervasive kind of attitude, and I've noticed this both in right-hand path and left-hand path magicians, not so much middle path people, but mostly people who gravitate towards one extreme part or the other, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's the love and light people, and then there are, you know, the like 218, you know, like people who go really hard, right, on the other, and it's, you know, it's fucking fine. But there's a lot of the egoism definitely comes to play in here. But I've noticed that there are a lot of very disparaging things said about people in the occult who suffer from physical illnesses, mental illnesses, things like that. And as you know, there are those who are mentally unstable in the occult community who should not be practicing under any circumstances. But it is my view that when you are suffering from actual symptoms of your mental illness that are detrimental, to probably like rein back a little bit. That's what I do, at least, to like kind of get myself regrounded, because there have been times where I shouldn't have been practicing, and it wasn't great for me, like as somebody who suffers from extreme depression, right? Yeah, there's this attitude, and it basically boils down to the same attitude as you don't pray enough. Like if you're still suffering from any kind of like physiological ailments and things like that, like there's like this entire like group of people who are like obsessed with me and like, you know, call me like a quadriplegic and all these sorts of things, and basically say I don't love Satan enough, and that's why I have this or that autoimmune disorder. I've had these autoimmune disorders for over 10 years. So like anyway, like my point being is that like I've noticed that there are a lot of people who have made egregious claims about being able to like claim this and claim that about like, you know, their curative properties. And while personally in my practice I've found ways to alleviate the symptoms, like with my scleroderma, you know, I mean, somebody who is my age is, you know, like I should be like dying practically right now, but my scleroderma markers are back to normal. right? You know, I'm still being treated for it, but I mean, you know, thanks to my workings and things like that, like it's at a manageable level to where it basically doesn't exist for me other than like, you know, the odd symptoms of pain and things like that. Which to me is like a fucking, you know, godsend, right? But to other people, it's like not good enough. And I thought that was really interesting and strange because you know, I started out as a pagan and moved into chaos magic, and, you know, as many of us do. And, you know, to me, the order of the universe is chaos. And, you know, that can be good chaos, bad chaos. I mean, it really is what you make of it in the end, right? And how you're able to, you know, basically use some kind of alchemy or the other to transform it into something that's beneficial to you, right? But I've noticed with the love and light crowd on the right hand path, they have this attitude that, gosh, what was it? I'm trying to remember how they worded it, but it essentially was the exact same thing the people on the left hand path were saying, just in a different flavor. And it was essentially that, like, oh, you must have pissed off this entity, or you must have done this ritual wrong, or like blah, 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 blah. And to me, you know, like the universe, we can shape our own reality to a certain extent, but the universe is such a large and incomprehensible force that, to me, the egoism of being able to control every little facet like that is maniacal.
But people have to understand there's laws in the physical realm.
Yes.
Where, you know, and there's things that you just can't fucking do. Okay? Like, hello.
Yeah.
And those people, whoever said anything negative to you, those are just, they're just not evolved. They're not there. They're judgmental. No. They're, you know, I've come across a lot of these people and I just cut them off, and it's not even worth arguing with them because they're losers. They just go online and they're trolls. They just pick on people that are actually thriving and are actually pushing. I mean, if you're pushing yourself and you're doing everything and you're healthy and you're alive and you're there and you're happy, you know, I know what depression is. I suffer from depression too. But I have it under control, and it's a process. People don't understand, like, it's a process. We go through it. Like, I know my triggers. You know, I don't take any medication. I used to, but the medication just kind of made it worse for me, you know. But yeah, I'm one of the lucky ones where I can function now without, I can deal with that, because a lot of it was emotional and a lot of it was drug use, because I used drugs for like 20 years of my life, and that just, you know, made it. But you're going to get people. I don't care if you're on the right hand path, left hand path. If you're a piece of shit and you're an asshole and you're treating people in a discriminative way, that's just who you are. It doesn't matter what they practice. This is who they are. People, for some reason, have this image that people on the left hand path have to be these dark, mean, freaking people. No, I'm sorry. That's not what that's about. That's all like edgelord shit. Okay. Yeah. A real practitioner. Yeah. A real practitioner understands that love is the law. Love yourself, loving others who are deserving of it. You know, you don't put up with people, but like your light will shine through the darkness. Like, you do not have to go on to be like an asshole. So yeah.
Absolutely. And I wanted to like impart that, because there are a lot of younger baby witch occultists who are getting their information from people like this. And it's very concerning, because it's very damaging. And like, I myself personally, I won't name names, of course. I know a practitioner who was doing some work with TikTok witches.
Wait, shit, I accidentally stopped recording by accident. Oh no, I did it. Sorry, keep going.
No, you're good. And they were so offended by the existence of baby witches and things like that on TikTok that they were going out of their way to do some like heavy duty cursing and things like that. And I'm just like, you know, I don't know what to say to something bullies. Like that.
That's a bully.
Wow.
That's a bully. Those are bullies. Like, I understand. Are you talking about when the baby witches were cursing the moon?
Yes, and they were saying we're gonna curse the fae, and I was like, listen, you don't need to do anything about that.
You don't need to do anything about it. It's cute. Let them think that.
Yes, they will find out very shortly what happens when you're like, I'm gonna curse the fae. Sure,
they're gonna find out. Absolutely.
And so that was very interesting to me. And like I don't look down at them for anything like that, because they're also quite young compared to me. So I understand feeling so strongly about your practice that it becomes this like precious thing. But when you make it so precious, it's like you might as well be one of those people who like worships 4chan and like acts like 4chan is this like bastion of freedom and things like that. Like I was like raised on the internet and things like that. And when I hear shit like that, I'm like, oh God, please stop. Like it's very, as the kids say, cringe. And it like it hits me in such a visceral way. Like I feel it in the pit of my fucking root chakra. I'm just like, oh God, cringe. But yeah, like and I want, like I can't think of a single practitioner who was not, unless they were born into it, who has not been cringe at some point or the other. Like, you know what I mean? So like, to me, a lot of this is projection from people's own insecurities, that they're trying to be like, I'm not like other witches. I'm the real witch. And you can tell because I shit on these other little baby witches who literally don't know what they're doing and never even heard
instead of being guides to them and helping them and having some kind of showing them, it's the way you deliver your messages to people. People don't get that. If you deliver your message in a hostile way, you're going to get a certain reaction from a person. And if you're a witch and you do divination, you should be able to read people's energy and vibe and learn how to deal with these baby witches in a proper professional way, because you're representing the gods, and the gods aren't going to be handled, they're adolescents. They don't know what they're doing. They're testing the waters. They're diving in. They're trying to be brave.
Right.
That's what we do. Let them learn. They're gonna learn. You don't need to go out. Yeah, I know. I agree. We were talking about that actually on my live the other night, about how people just let people do their shit, man. Like focus on yourself unless they come to you for advice.
I heard about your interview with a guy who like works with the Warhammer fucking gods, and I was like, that's a trip. I was like, but you know what? It works for him. Like he's getting the results.
The vampire,
he wants, right? Doesn't fucking matter, I guess. And like I was trying to explain, I was like talking to my partner about it, and they were like so fascinated by that interview. They watched it like over and over again. And I was trying to explain, I was like, to an extent, I can kind of understand where they're coming from, because these Warhammer, gods have existed for decades, right? And the fanaticism of the fan base for Warhammer is so intense that it, like, making egregores, I mean, that's how it's done.
Yep.
Yep. And so, if he's getting the results that he wants from it, who the fuck am I to judge, right?
Well,
like
that's magic.
Right.
That's magic. He's tapping in, and like he was, I've never played those games. Okay, I'm not a gamer. But I know what you guys are talking about.
I mean, if there was a game that you would choose, ancient gods to worship from, I would think that Warhammer would be a good choice, honestly.
Yeah, it's all ancient gods and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm gonna check it out.
Warhammer and a lot of tabletop games are very well researched in the occult. I played this game called Morkborg recently with a bunch of occultist friends of mine, and it was great. It was fucking wonderful.
But you see, the gods inspire humanity to create things like this and to do that. So obviously they're getting those images and downloads of information to produce these games in like a way that, like, I believe that we're in a very high tech game. That's just my belief. Like I think we're in a game. And I know my higher self is up there. We all know our higher self's up there, and they're operating from us down here, but whatever. But so yeah, why wouldn't games have any connection to the gods? Of course they would.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Yeah. And I've read some very interesting chaos magic material of like.
Welcome to my channel, everyone. Today I have the amazing Sludge Judge with me. Welcome.
Thank you.
We are going to be talking about a couple of subjects, and we're going to talk about African magic. But before I get into our discussion,